Part 2 of the Kubota Snowblower conversion, and let's see where we left off last. I had the left-right motor on there. I went ahead and added limit switches just to keep that motor from high amping when it gets to the end of the stroke. Just welded a tab onto there and one around there, and that seems to work. That chute still is kind of seems a little wobbly to me. I'll have to look at that or try and bend these tabs down and fix that. I checked the oil in the gearbox and it's full and it looks clean, so I didn't bother changing it. I figure I'll do that after I get a chance to use it. So where we're at now, I went ahead and got 2 half-inch plates and cut these 22.5 inches. Actually, I should have cut them another inch longer. Drilled a 5/8 hole in the plate to put the pin through, and hooked it up pretty much same way that the Bolin's snowblower is hooked up. The cylinder, I don't really like how the angle of it, but I didn't really have a lot of options. On the Bolin snowblower, the shaft goes on top with the hydraulic cylinder offset to one side. This one keeps it in the middle, which I like better, but unfortunately it keeps it higher too, so it looks like I'll be able to clear it underneath. I'm going to have to shorten the shaft. Here's the shaft that came with the Kubota blower, and we're too long, of course, which is fine. I took the guard off. They have just the end is a square drive, and then the rest is just a piece of pipe. So I'll ask my buddy if he can machine this off and just take this section of pipe out, and it should fit. I was lucky enough to find a mating piece that will go on the PTO output. So I don't know how common that is. I guess I considered myself lucky to find that. I got it with some other parts, and I never really had a use for it. And then the shaft that goes in between is a 7/8 by 3/4 inch, so it's slightly rectangular. So I picked up a 1 inch by 3/4 bar, and a buddy of mine machined the 1 inch dimension down to 7/8. So seems like that'll work. I had to round the corners a little bit more, and it seems to work. But the ends are full of dirt too, so I gotta clean those out. Oh yeah, I guess I forgot about. I did finish putting the sprockets together, and that seems to work all right. It seems to roll pretty good, so we'll see how that works. Got to end up putting a new chain on it because the old one was just dirty, and I had to try and start over new here so I ain't causing some more problems. So yeah, so getting back to these bars, so they're 4 inches wide, 1/2 inch thick. Should be 23.5 inches long. I cut them 22.5. And if you look on the other side, there's a 3/4 inch hole. I'll just mark that or transfer punch it. Well, I don't have transfer punches that big, but I'll mark it and drill 2 3/4 inch holes. I'm just going to bolt this piece on in case for some reason in the future I ever want to try and go back to the Kubota style, but I don't think that's going to happen. But and then there's there's another hole behind that C-clamp there, the red one, and I'll just use that. So those 2 bolts, and then just got the 5/8 pins there. Yeah, the angle of that cylinder, the way this is set up, I don't like that it's such a sharp angle. But in fact, when I first hooked it up here just a few minutes ago, I didn't even think it was going to work, but it actually does. Seems to work okay, so I'll give a little demo of that real quick. And before I'm done, I just got to pick up the back end a little bit, just to, after I put wheels, going to lift them. I'm trying to get as level as possible. And actually, if I pick it up here too, it'll give it a little more clearance for the shaft. Although I got to be careful that it doesn't bind on the cylinder. I'll have to watch that. Before I just run it up and down on the up-down chute, I got a solution, but I haven't got there yet. I figure I'll get it mounted first and work on that next. I started out with bought a hydraulic cylinder on eBay, a little 6-inch. I think it was like $40 shipped, so I don't know, I think that's a pretty good deal considering what this would be new. Kubota actually uses a hydraulic cylinder on their snowblowers. I'm not sure about all of them, but at least some of them. And which the hydraulic cylinder is not a bad idea. Actually, it's a really good idea. But the problem is for me is that little electric motor. I'm worried about if I have to roll this thing with those hydraulic lines as being stiff, and it just seems like that wasn't really the best idea. The Kubota has actually a hydraulic motor on the left-right, so it has plenty of torque, and I just don't want to be dragging those hoses around. Otherwise, it probably would have worked good. What I ended up getting is one of these little linear actuators from China. And I played around with it. Actually, it's pretty smooth working. It has built-in limit switches, so it seems like it'll be ideal. It only has a 4-inch stroke, but I could only get a speed of 30 millimeters per second was the max I could find. Most of the linear actuators are pretty slow, and I wanted to kind of keep the speed up. But even 30 millimeters a second takes about 3-4 seconds to cycle back and forth. But I think that's about as fast as my other one, and this certainly is a little more robust. That other one I have with the threaded rod is kind of flimsy, and the motor is kind of not very good for that application. It's working. I'll leave it for now, but I may switch it out to one of these someday. And actually, the price on this wasn't bad. It was like $40 or something like that. The problem is the shipping was $35. So if we could have them ship at China Post for $40 or $45, whatever it was, that'd be good. So it'd be a good price. I don't know. I think it was $75 when it was all said and done. Seems like quite a bit for what it's doing, but I think it should last long. It's so the motor is a 12-volt. It says 4 amps on here, but I tried to load it up, use it as a jack, and I can only pull about 1.5–2 amps out of it. It's not real strong. It's claimed to be about 15 pounds is all, but that should be fine for that. And it looks like it takes a static load of 100 kilograms, which is 200 and some pounds. So when I get that hooked up, I'll shoot a video of that. Probably try and do that tomorrow. That shouldn't take very long. I'll just bend some C's on there and weld it to the chute. What else we got? I guess that's about it. I'll move this over. We'll run it up and down. The only problem I do have is this cylinder. This cylinder gets really close to the frame, so I'll have to burn a little half moon out of there to let it come up. But it's not going to take much. It almost comes out all the way. Oh, and the cylinder too, I had to weld this. I just welded these tabs on here to let the rod go through it. So I just didn't have a clevis type of hitch for it to put on there, and I just welded some 1/4-inch plate and drilled a 3/4-inch hole through it. Of course, the other end is stock like Kubota had it. So anyway, we'll play around with it here a little bit. First we'll check the left-right. It's actually the first time I tried it on this tractor with it hooked up. So again, not really the fastest, but good enough for me. ahead and go down with it. That works really good. Picks up the front quite a bit. A little bit more than the Bolin's did. Again, I just have that clamp there, so there's, oops, extra parts falling out, washers that I gotta put back in there. But yeah, just being clamped, it seems to be holding up well. Just a shot of the cylinder being extended there. So yeah, I'm touching on the cylinder right down there. So there's only about another 1/4 inch it has to go to bring it up all the way. And actually, I could live with that. It's plenty of room off the ground. I didn't think it'd actually pick it up that high. So that's kind of where we're at. The rest should be pretty well home free. I don't see any real showstoppers, just the time to drill the holes in and bolt it up. And cut the notch out of there for the cylinder, and then put the shoot up down on. Oh, and then get that shaft modified. But I don't see any showstoppers there either. I just got to make sure that when it's all said and done, when that extends or when the hydraulic picks it up and down, there's enough play in the shaft there to slide back and forth. And I'll probably just end up welding it to that piece. That's how they typically are. So that's where we're at. We'll shoot one more video. Of course, it's almost summer, so I'm not going to be able to get to use this till next year. But I'll shoot another one with it running, and we just won't be able to try it out. And maybe one day, if I actually get some snow somewhere, we'll shoot some videos of it snow blowing, see how it works. Thanks for watching. See you next time.